In this lesson, we're going to take a look at fine-tune editing. Now, fine-tune editing is where we start to remove any hesitations or repeated words to make our soundbite flow more naturally. And for this example, we're going to go back to Charlie's clip. Now, I don't know if you remember from when we played out the multi-track clip of Charlie, but it was nice and coherent. There was no hesitations or repeated words. So in this example, you'll hear quite a lot of hesitations in Charlie's clip. And it's our job again as audio editors to try to make this flow as naturally as possible. Now, it could be the case that the hesitations help to enhance the story that you're trying to tell. Maybe we want to keep Charlie's hesitations in because he might be hesitant about the story that he's telling. He might be nervous, he might be afraid of what's lying ahead for him. So it's worth thinking editorially whether or not you want to keep these hesitations in. But for the sake of this example, we're going to try to clean up Charlie's clip, removing repeated words, removing hesitations, and let's see how we get on. Now, the first thing that you'll want to do when it comes to fine-tune editing is turn off snapping. If you remember when we were making selections between the markers, snapping was really useful because it allowed us to snap to our markers. Now, I'm just zooming in on my waveform for a moment and on my display to show you these green vertical lines. Now, we've still got snapping turned on at the moment, so if I click and drag to make a selection, you'll notice that the snapping tool is indeed snapping to those green grid lines. Now, that's great when you want to snap to markers and so on, but for fine-tune editing, it's not quite as useful because you want the selections to flow naturally and freely wherever you need them to, because we're really getting close into the waveform. So, to turn snapping off, we just need to go to the snapping tool, which is just here. Keyboard shortcut is the letter S. So we can turn that on and off. When it's off, it's in a grey colour. And now we've done that, let's go back to the start of the file, let's scroll back to the beginning, and let's take a listen to some hesitations that we might hear from Charlie. So let's play back from the beginning.
Yeah, it's very worrying, obviously being a 33-year-old.
Okay, so within the first 3 seconds, we have 2 hesitations. We have 2 so 2 hesitations just there. Let's play them back.
Yeah, it's very worrying, obviously being a 33-year-old.
Yeah, so let's try to clean those up. Now again, I would recommend that you zoom in quite a distance so you can really see the shape of the waveform. Now, the hesitation that we want to remove is around this area just here. So, we need to make a selection, just a rough selection at this point because we don't know exactly what it is that we've chosen. But something that we do use with fine-tune editing is skip selection, and it should already be turned on from the previous exercise. So with our selection ready to go, let's click on the play icon in the transport toolbar and listen to how the clip plays with the hesitation removed.
Yeah, it's very worrying, obviously being...
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Let's show you a bad example. So if we start to cut into the other words, it's going to sound very edited, and the point of fine-tune editing is to make the audio flow as naturally as possible. You don't want the file to sound edited, you want it to sound like it's seamless. Let's take a listen to this example.
Yeah, it's very worrying, obviously being...
So that's a bad example of an edit because you can clearly hear we've chopped off the end of this word just here and we've chopped off the start of this. Let's take a listen once more.
Yeah, it's very worrying, obviously being...
So that's not ideal. That's why you need to zoom in quite a distance. Now, let's just tweak our selection a little bit. Let's try it again.
Yeah, it's very worrying, obviously being...
Yeah, I'm happy with that. So at this point, I'm just going to press backspace on the keyboard to delete that selection. And just like we've seen previously, Audition closes that gap, so we've now removed that hesitation. Let's take a look at the next one, which was between 2 and 3 seconds.
Obviously being a 33...
Yep, so there's another one. Looks quite a straightforward one, this does. So let's choose the audio that we want to get rid of. And what I usually do with these fine-tune edits, I will make a selection from the very start of the hesitation up to the next word. So the next word we can see is roughly here, and that should give you a good grounding or a good starting point at least to remove that hesitation. So let's play it through.
Yeah, it's very worrying, obviously being a 33-year-old.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. And again, a bad example would be something like this.
Yeah, it's very worrying, obviously being 33-year-old.
Yeah, so you can hear that we've cut out the end of this word and the start of the other word. So let's try again. So like I said, selection from the beginning of the hesitation up to the next word. So that kind of portion of audio is what we're looking to remove. Let's audition it once again.
Yeah, it's very worrying, obviously being a 33-year-old.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. So let's press backspace and let's continue this exercise. Now, I'm going to speed up the rest of this video while I complete the exercise, but you feel free to have a go at this in your own time. At the end of the video, I will play back my final results so you can listen to it and hopefully have something similar. Okay, so here's my finished exercise. I'll play this once through for you, and that will be the end of this lesson.
Yeah, it's very worrying, obviously being a 33-year-old with a family to support, having no income or no job offers at the moment. It is pretty worrying. I suppose if you're 19, 20 years old and got no responsibilities, then you can sort of fend for yourself. But where you have a lot more responsibility and you've got bills to pay, yeah, the longer it goes on, the more difficult it is to sort of understand.
In this lesson, we've taken a look at fine-tune editing within the waveform editor. Coming up next, we're going to show you how to save the audio files that we've been editing so far.